Hi guys, Forgotten Wolf here, and this is my third ever Formula One video on this channel. And this time it is on the race that Ferrari never recovered from, and why they've never recovered from, and what's happened since then. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe. We are so close to 100 subs, and with that out of the way, let's begin. If you can't tell by the thumbnail, the race that Ferrari never recovered from is Hockenheim, Germany 2018. The whole season, Sebastian Vettel had been leading the championship and beating Lewis Hamilton, and had just taken a damning win in Silverstone, Hamilton's home. And now was Vettel's home race, and Ferrari had been dominant all race and all weekend with a 1-2. Hamilton starting from the back. All Vettel had to do is keep it under calm when it started raining on the slicks, and with just 15 laps to go, he would extend his championship lead to 22 points. A 22-point deficit to overcome, and Vettel would probably win his fifth championship and Ferrari's first, since Ferrari's constructors won in 2008. But then Vettel crashed out, hit the barriers, and this was a crushing blow, and the championship fight after that wasn't the same, and Ferrari wasn't the same. After Germany, Vettel would be panicking a lot, making tons of mistakes, and he'd become known for key spins and crashes. Ferrari after 2018 Germany would be plagued by strategy mistakes and failing to surround their star drivers with actual talent. In 2018, it would start off with a spin and crash with Hamilton, Italy, that left eventually Vettel's teammate Kimi Räikkönen open to Hamilton, while Vettel had to recover to fourth, giving Hamilton a 40-point advantage. Singapore, a mistake by Ferrari, strategy mistake, and allowed Verstappen to undercut Vettel. And this was followed by Japan and USA, where Vettel crashes with both Red Bulls being Ricciardo and Verstappen. The damage was done, and Hamilton won the championship in Brazil, and Ferrari would never be the same after this. In 2019, Ferrari resorted to cheating with their illegal engine, and after 2018, Ferrari wouldn't design a championship contending car for a while, and it was also their culture became broken. It was, I don't want to say toxic, but it was pretty much broken. This was seen as Ferrari didn't win in 2019 until Belgium and Italy, with Leclerc winning both. Then in Singapore, another Ferrari panicking and strategy mistake meant Leclerc was overcut by Vettel. Still another Ferrari win, but in Russia, it was a mistake where Vettel had to DNF due to an engine issue or electrical issue, and they chose to DNF him out on track and not in the pits, which was 2 turns away. This left Leclerc to be jumped by both Mercedeses, and Valtteri Bottas ended up winning. And another pattern after Germany was Ferrari failing to control their drivers, and this escalated with their infamous crash in Brazil 2019. And now Vettel and Leclerc respected and liked each other a lot, but as teammates, it just wasn't very good. Then it was 2020. In 2020, COVID happened, and Ferrari decided to end the toxic relationship with Vettel that had developed, and this signed Carlos Sainz for 2021. This left Vettel to be blindsided, and he kind of lost his motivation, and it felt like he wasn't trying that season, and Ferrari wasn't trying to help him. And in 2020, Leclerc had some great performances, but he couldn't go anywhere because Ferrari, they had a really crappy car, and with their illegal engine banned, Ferrari sucked in 2020, not to mention the strategy mistakes, and all this meant Ferrari had possibly their worst season ever. And after 2 troubling years, Mattia Binotto, the team principal, was still allowed to keep his job. Why? The Ferrari management just completely tanked. They just decided to try all different new things when they didn't need to do anything new. They needed to fire their team principal, and they needed to wipe the slate clean. They just didn't. I don't know what to say. And then 2021 came, and the year started better than 2020, but they still weren't a top team. They battled with McLaren for 3rd place. And despite this, Ferrari had a chance to redeem themselves for wasting Charles Leclerc's time at Ferrari so far with a win at Monaco. Ferrari looked really fast, and Leclerc was on the initial pole, but Leclerc cracked under pressure and crashed the car. Leclerc would have won the race, but Ferrari's failure to get a proper team principal and strategist and their whole team just completely failed him when they thought his gearbox was fine after the crash, and they didn't change it, leading to Leclerc's gearbox failing before he could get onto the grid, even before the formation lap had started. Meaning he didn't start his home race, and he had a DNS, and Max Verstappen won. Later in the season, Ferrari had another strategy error in France, meaning they didn't score. We'll leave Ferrari alone for Silverstone 2021, as they did a perfect job, but the FIA didn't penalize Hamilton enough for his crash with Verstappen. And Binotto, after 2021, still looked like a horrible team principal. And after 2018, Ferrari became, it seems, even more loyal to their team principal, despite in the past sacking a lot of people, which they needed to do. Fred Vasseur should be sacked, in my opinion, and Binotto should have been sacked after 2019 and 2020. But they didn't, meaning for the new regulations, Mattia Binotto would get a chance to lead a Ferrari title charge. Now, Ferrari knew they had a great chance of winning both championships with a huge regulations change. And I would say Ferrari's really bad support of their drivers would be the downfall of their championship hopes. In 2022, Charles Leclerc started out great, winning 2 out of the 3 opening rounds. But from there, frequent mistakes meant Ferrari would ruin Leclerc's perfect Monaco round, and they pitted him when they didn't need to. Leclerc crashed in France, more strategy mistakes at Silverstone, and by the summer break, the championship was basically over and nobody was trying, it felt like. And all of this had given Ferrari finally the reason to do what they should have done back in 2018, despite Binotto not being the principal. Then they finally sacked Mattia Binotto, instead making a good choice by replacing him with an actually good team principal in Salvador's Fred Vasseur, leaving a semblance of hope. In 2023, all hope Ferrari fans and Ferrari had entering the year would be destroyed instantly, with Red Bull dominating the whole year. And to start the year, Ferrari would be the same broken team as Leclerc, DNF'd in 2 out of the first 3 races, with only 7th the other finish. Sainz fared better, but they were nowhere near a top team, and Ferrari was terrible in the first half of the season, with a broken culture, a bad car. Strategy mistakes were not that bad, but they only managed 2 podiums. But through all of this, the team was kept together by having a legit team principal again, and this would help them through a very difficult time, as Fred Vasseur helped them to lead a charge in the second half with having a lot of podiums, and Sainz taking the only non-Red Bull win. Additionally, Ferrari was finally recovering from the mismanagement of years past, looking like they would recover, and they had actually good young drivers with Ollie Behrman on the rise. And in 2024, Ollie Behrman would fill in for 6 Sainz and get in the points despite only getting practice 3 and qualifying to prepare. And then in 2024, Sainz won in Australia. 2024 would be a year of hope after a lot of pain, with wins for Leclerc in Monaco, Monza, and USA, ending the curse Ferrari had there in recent years. And Leclerc's wins led many people to think maybe Ferrari can challenge for the title in 2025. And thus, present day 2025, and Ferrari is still the same broken team. As I'd argue this season is their worst in history, even though statistically it's not. Ferrari pulled off their biggest driver signing of all time, signing 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes, and he joined that year. In 2025, Ferrari would fall to the same victims that they had before: a terrible car and a poor driver performance, strategy mistakes. Ferrari looked like Binotto is still running it, and Ferrari is completely broken. They are nowhere near anyone else. They haven't taken a single win this season. They are trash, to be honest. Ferrari is completely broken, and I don't know if they will ever recover from the demons of Germany 2018. And my only solution is to get a top team principal, or like Horner or Wolf, or to wipe the slate clean, fire every single person in the F1 team, but they can't and they won't. Germany 2018 made Ferrari nervous, self-doubting, panicky, bunch of mistakes, and this period after would result in them never giving the drivers proper support they needed. This once great team has been ruined. And that is it for this video, and thanks so much for watching. And if you want more like this, at 100 subs, I'll do a 1-hour video on the FNAF Timeline, and at 750 likes, I'll do a video on how Mercedes formed an F1 empire, and at 75k views, I'll do a video on the life of Jaime Lannister. But until next time, bye!